We want to go back to that planned March Against Police Brutality protest that had originally been scheduled in Palm Desert along El Paseo. Again, due to concerns over the risk to businesses and looting fears, organizers said they've changed the location to Palm Desert City Hall now. Still, more than a dozen businesses have boarded up their windows as store owners take precaution. We have News Channel 3's Tom Tucker live at El Paseo now with the details. Tom, what are you seeing?
Well, Angela and Jeff, we've stepped inside one of the retail shops here on El Paseo because our camera equipment was overheating, but we're going to go ahead and step outside here right now just very briefly and show you what's happening here at Four Seasons Swimwear here. If our cord can reach, you can see a work crew installing plywood here on the windows here at the shop. It's one of about 20 to 25 businesses here on El Paseo where we have seen plywood already put up against the windows. They've been doing it throughout the morning here. And it's really quite strange. Just within the past 30 minutes, the traffic here on El Paseo has subsided significantly. It was quite busy for much of the morning while we were out here. But now it's really strangely quiet. And we don't know for sure, but perhaps that could be somehow related to the news that this demonstration scheduled for El Paseo here at 5 o'clock tonight has been moved to Palm Desert Civic Center Park. We don't see any law enforcement vehicles where we are at right now, no visible law enforcement, but out here last night around 10 o'clock, I was on El Paseo and saw about a half dozen sheriff's deputies patrol vehicles going up and down the street, along with a couple of trucks from Riverside County Fire Department. But again, things out here relatively quiet now, but about 25 businesses boarded up with plywood on their windows in anticipation of what was supposed to be this demonstration out here at 5 o'clock tonight. I've spoken with a number of business owners here on El Paseo throughout the morning, and standing by right now is Summer Stewart. She's the owner here of Four Seasons Swimwear. She and her family have owned the business here for 43 years on El Paseo. Summer says this is the longest tenured business here on El Paseo for 43 years. And Summer, we thank you for joining us here on News Channel 3 at noon. We talked just a moment ago. You said you're feeling a little sense of relief, at least, knowing that this demonstration has moved over to Palm Desert Civic Center Park, but still you're a little concerned.
I actually haven't heard that. I have looked at the Chamber of Commerce. I haven't heard that. If it has been moved, that's great, but we are still going to be cautious just in case.
Yeah, better to err on the side of caution, the side of conservatism. Talk a little bit about maybe some of the information you received over the weekend. We had heard that the Palm Desert Chamber Area of Commerce had sent out a notice to business owners advising maybe some precautionary moves or measures. What have you been hearing, and how are you responding?
We actually were visited by the police department yesterday. I didn't hear anything from the chamber until I looked on their Facebook page last night. But the police came by yesterday and said that the demonstration would be going today. They suggested that we not open up and that we move everything from the windows just in case. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it is just a peaceful protest, but we do need to keep safe. There goes one of the cops. We've already been hit 9 weeks of shutdown, and so we just can't afford to keep getting hit and hit and hit. So we just want to be really, really safe right now.
As a merchant, a business owner, an entrepreneur, someone pursuing the American dream, if you will, when you see some of the coverage from around the country, some of these bigger cities where you see this vandalism, this looting, this rioting taking place, what do you think? What do you feel? What goes through your heart, your head, and your mind?
It's awful because they're taking away from the real cause, the real reason, the protests and stuff are happening. And it's not everybody. There are a lot of people out there who are being peaceful, but the looters are just ruining it for everybody. They're taking, our livelihood away. They are wrecking us. There's no way to bounce back after coronavirus, and we're still going through that. Economy is just horrible. And then we're getting hit with people who are just being monsters to us, not us hopefully right now, but out there. I see the business owners just buckle down crying, and it's understandable. I will be too if something, God forbid, happens. It's horrendous. I just don't understand why they're hurting their own communities. And we have a great community here. We have an absolutely wonderful community. So hopefully people aren't coming in from outside of our community, because we do have a great community.
All right, Summer Stewart, that's all the time we have. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it. That's it from live here on El Paseo and Palm Desert. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, thank you, Tom. I'm sure a lot of concern there on El Paseo, as we just heard from that shopkeeper there. But of course, do stay with News Channel 3 for continuing coverage as we bring you continuing so much concern out there.